Okay, should we have a little chat about Emilia Perez? So this is the controversial 13 Oscar nomination, French slash Mexican slash English slash American slash, which is causing controversy.
Don't really know why, because quite frankly, it's just an average film. Make no mistake, this film is the definition of a musical gone wrong. So what will happen is this, all right? A character will walk into a scene and they will go something like this.
I am driving my car, it's really fast. I am turning the steering wheel and I am looking out the window as I record.
Which is really infuriating because, honestly speaking, why is that happening? Why? Why is the dialogue so on the nose? Why is the singing so on the nose? It's pathetic. And I know you can do that in musicals, but this doesn't feel like the opportune moment to do this, especially when the singing is so incredibly bad. It's a musical with bad music. And I love musicals, but this is just, my God, which doesn't make any sense. Now, the fact that it's been Oscar nominated, 13 nominations, doesn't surprise me, but confuses me. And also, why? So why is everyone so angry about this? I mean, it's just a movie, right? I mean, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is that, of course, the film is woke. There's a lot of subjects in there that are atypical of what is going on in Hollywood right now. And we all thought that we were getting past this whole era of woke movies. Whether you see woke as a positive or a negative, woke has always been around. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think it's a good idea to inject political messages into your films, especially relevant political message into your films, especially when they're so bluntly sang out. I'm working at my desk, I have a phone and a mouse and a keyboard. I have a Mac and it's wonderful. And guess what? I am going to sing about it. Right off the bat, I want to say this film looks gorgeous. And I don't think people realize this director isn't some run-of-the-mill director who just popped out in the middle of nowhere. He's an established, incredible French director. If you've not seen his incredible films, you need to check them out. He's one of the best directors in the world. So let's put some respect on this man's name. This is no clown who just decided to make a woke film. This is a film director of great, awesome gravitas. But if you look at the work of the director, he doesn't typically do this. So why did he do it in this specific film?
La la la, and let's sing about me driving my car.
Well, he's got 13 Oscar nominations. Why not? So if I had a chance to have 13 Oscar nominations, you bet your bottom dollar I would make things as woke as possible. So what's the film actually all about? Well, here's the thing. It's not actually about that much. It's about a drug dealer in Mexico who has a sex change so he can avoid going to jail. And that's the film.
I'm again driving my car. It's going down the street. I just turned left and I went left. And I'm gonna go right now.
I think one of the standout things of the film, apart from the fact that it looks really good, is the fact that actually he managed to get quite a star-studded cast. When I say star-studded, I mean Zoe Saldana and who's that singer? Forgot her name, Selena, whatever. Who cares?
Hello, very nice to meet you. I'd like to know about sex change operation.
I see.
Now, if you're not a fan of musicals, and you know what, I am a fan of musicals, then you probably won't like this film. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you to watch it. You probably shouldn't watch it. But, you know, being a fan of musicals, I can't say that I completely hated it. I mean, end of the day, none of us are perfect, right? None of us are perfect. Because here's the thing, in spite of the film's flaws, I didn't actually hate the film. It's not that bad for me to hate the film. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's the worst film I've ever seen. It's not. There was a lot worse films that I saw in 2024. And quite frankly, I think people who are moaning about the film because it's woke are a little bit pathetic. Let's just get over ourselves, shall we? Not everyone needs a soapbox. Okay, so does this film deserve all the backlash it's been getting? Or is it unjustified? Well, let's take a little ride and find out, shall we? As I said, I'm not a big fan of all this woke nonsense or this agenda to remove woke from the world. I mean, ultimately, sure, woke is not good. But, end of the day, who cares? Who actually cares? I'm driving in my car. I saw someone with a star. I put my foot on the pedal and then I went forwards. So I decided to turn the wheel. 'Cause if you turn the wheel, then the car will drive, as well as putting your foot on the pedal. And if I put my foot on the brake, the car, it will instantly stop. And then I will be standstill and stationary, and that is life. That is a song from the wonderful film Emilia Perez, Oscar nominated 13 different times in the same year for the same film. Incredible film, incredible moments, special, and I think maybe the greatest film ever made. Emilia Perez. Okay, so what are my particular thoughts on this particular film? Do I think it's a masterpiece? Well, no, I don't. I think it's kind of boring, very repetitive, and although it touches on some issues that I believe should be discussed in film, I don't think these issues should not be discussed in film. I do think there's a better way of handling a story like this. I do think that better songs would have helped. Better acting may have helped as well, definitely. The film looks lush, it looks gorgeous, and honestly speaking, it does bring some really interesting points up. So I'm not going to sit here and say that the wokeness is a bad thing. It's just the way it's approached. It just makes it ultra damn woke. Now, I think one of the worst Oscar films ever, Oscar winners ever, is the film Crash, which when I first saw it, to me was like a goddamn masterpiece. But upon reflection, I think everyone thinks it's a piece of trash. And I'm in that camp where I think it's a piece of crap. Because it's very on the nose with the dialogue, very on the nose with the message. And ultimately, it says very little while saying nothing about everything. Which, I don't know if that makes sense, but if you've seen Crash, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This film, there's so many themes in this film. We have immigration, we have the cartels in South America, we have change in gender, we have the idea of assimilation, not just with your gender, but with different cultures and so forth. Let me see if I'm allowed to drive. So, yeah, I mean, for me, there's too much going on, and to handle it through bad exposition, bad singing, okay acting, seems like a far stretch. Now, let me just kind of underline everything by saying, again, this director is tremendous, and this, for me, doesn't at all sully any of his other work. Like, his other work is fantastic. His amazing film, On Profit, is one of the best films of the past 15 years. So let's not put any shame on this man's name. Like, this is not, as I said before, a woke director who's decided he's going to put his foot in the woke arena. This man is in his 70s. He's not here for that. But again, if you said to me, if you make this woke film, you might get Oscar nominated, I'm gonna take it. Now, a lot of people, last year I made a video about the Oscars. It was my first year on YouTube, and I wanted everyone to know exactly what my thoughts on the Oscars were. Here's my thoughts on the Oscars. I love them. I love them. Why do I love the Oscars? Very simple. If you're a bin man, if you're a footballer, if you're a college professor, if you are a chef, you want to be rewarded and acknowledged for your hard work. And for me, the best way to do that as an actor, as a filmmaker, as anything, is to be nominated for an Oscar. That's the peak of your career. So I love the Oscars. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying I love the Oscars. I think there's something great with saying I love the Oscars. It means I'm trying to shoot for the stars. If I got nominated for an Oscar, I'd be at the Oscars. I would be there collecting my award. Well, if I win. It's a bit like what Denzel said. You know, I'm from round the way. I'm lean with some. And getting an Oscar is just, for me, as an actor, as a filmmaker, as an editor, whatever, is just the pinnacle of your career. And anyone who poo-poos the Oscars is an absolute fool. It's an absolute fool. What's wrong with rewarding people for the hard work? Now, I think the problem comes when things get hijacked and the Oscars jump on the messages that society is trying to play out. That's when it becomes a bit of an issue. So I would say, in this instance, the Oscars have done exactly that. And it's really disheartening because I felt we were past this whole message thing. I really thought last year being a year of, like, I would say pretty bad films, but it felt like a transition into something new, like a new era where people, interesting filmmakers, female filmmakers actually, were making incredibly dense and body horror, thoughtful films. Films like The Substance. And I think at the beginning of the year we had the film by Rose Glass with the lady from Twilight, whose name I always get wrong, so I'm not going to say it. But yeah, I thought last year was a signal of something quite pathetic. Not pathetic, but it appears that we're back to square one because the Oscars have just said it's okay to make woke nonsense. Now, I'm using the word woke not because I think it's particularly impactful, but I'm using it because it kind of just encompasses everything that was wrong about cinema for about 5, 6, 7 years. Now, I'm not saying that the films that are not woke are good. That's not what I'm saying. The films that are not woke are also crap. So I guess we're back to square one, really, which is a real shame. Because I want films to improve. And it doesn't feel like they are. And I mean, this recent Fantastic Four trailer is not giving me the feels that I want. And I don't think it's anything to do with the trailer per se. I think it's something to do with the actual fact that I'm over this. I'm over this whole superhero thing. I'm just done. I'm done.
So in conclusion, 7.5.
7.5.
7. So yeah, I mean, basically that's it. Yeah, I don't know what to say really. I mean, the film is not very good. I would say the film is a 5 out of 10. It's not very good. It's not very bad as well. It's not like the worst film I've ever seen, but at the same time, you know, there are better things out there. It's definitely not worth 13 Oscar nominations, for sure. Listen, if you could subscribe, that is definitely worth 13 Oscar nominations. And until the next time, guys, big love. See you soon.
To woman, or woman to men.
Man to woman.
From penis to vagina.
La la la, and let's sing about me driving my car as I progress down the road. Let's not crash into anyone.